明日って雨だよね。
いや、違うと思うよ。
今朝の天気予報で言ってたよ。
本当？もう一回確かめてみて。
あ、本当だ。晴れだった。
ねえ、違ったでしょ？ Hey there, and welcome to Learn Japanese Pod, the podcast that helps you to speak more naturally and fluently in Japanese. And I'm Alex, your host. And as always, we are joined by the wonderful Ami Sensei, who will be teaching us some tips and tricks for speaking just like a native. Ami Sensei.
はい、こんにちは。
こんにちは。元気？
元気です。アレクさんは？
元気ですよ。でも最近ね。
いいことありましたよね。
いや、悪いことばっかり。
え？
花粉症がひどい。
ああ、そうか。
今ね、本当に花粉がすごい飛んでる。
私もです。
でも一応元気です。
元気ですか？よかった。
頑張ります。で、アミ先生は最近いいことあった？
いいことありましたよ。だってWBC 日本が勝ったもんね。
おめでとうございます。Yeah, congratulations Japan on winning the WBC.
ね。
大谷翔平。神ってる。
神ってますね。
神ってますね。Wow, yeah.
Yeah, incredible.
Well done. Yeah,
so
well done.
So proud to be Japanese.
The only thing on TV is Otani
I
Senshi.
know, right?
It's just him, and he's on all the adverts.
He's on all the ads, yeah.
He is a national hero.
Wow.
For those of you who have been living under a rock, Japan won the WBC. And what was the last time Japan won it? It's been a long time.
Like 14 years, I think.
14 years ago, yeah. And the man of the hour is, of course, Otani Shohei.
Of course.
And he is now on every single advert, from shampoo to beverages and all kinds of things.
It's so funny. But, he deserves that. And
absolutely, yeah. He is a sensational player. And it's funny because, I'm a Brit, so I'm going to apologize because I know nothing about baseball. But even I was like, wow, this is...
Me too.
That was an amazing game, yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
So well done, Japan. I think that's...
Yeah, sorry for sidetracking.
No. This whole podcast is about sidetracking.
Nihon.
It's all about Japan, yeah.
Yes.
So well done, Japan. Nihon, omedetou gozaimashita.
Hi.
So where were we? Yes, welcome to Learn Japanese Pod. It's wonderful to have you listening to the podcast. And I just want to give a huge shout out to our premium members. Thank you so much for your support. You are really helping us to improve our podcasting game here. And it helps us to provide better podcasts to help you achieve your Japanese learning goals. And another shout out to our Discord members. Thank you, dear members, for making the Learn Japanese Pod Discord community such a fun, supportive and welcoming place. And if you want to find out more details about the premium membership and our Discord community, just head to our website at learnjapanesepod.com and check out the links at the top of the page. Now, Ami Sensei, what are we talking about in today's podcast?
Well, as our listeners may remember, in podcast number 45, we talked about how to agree with people in Japanese. But in this podcast, you'll learn how to disagree with people. And therefore, you may find it useful to listen to podcast number 45 as a companion to this lesson. Now, in this episode, we're going to teach you useful phrases for disagreeing with people and also how to use them appropriately in different situations. Now, generally speaking, Japanese people tend to be less direct or confrontational, so it's best to try to use more polite phrases. Even your tone of voice can be interpreted as being rude, so some caution is advised. But don't worry, we've got lots of example sentences and dialogues for you to listen to, so you can get an idea of how to use these phrases naturally in conversation. Have another listen to the dialogue you heard at the beginning of the podcast, and we'll break it down afterwards. 明日って雨だよね。
いや、違うと思うよ。
今朝の天気予報で言ってたよ。
本当？もう一回確かめてみて。
あ、本当だ。晴れだった。
ねえ、違ったでしょ？ Okay, so how much of that conversation did you understand? Let's break it down. Ami sensei.
Hi.
What was the first sentence?
First sentence was 明日って雨だよね。
That's actually kind of tricky because ashita is tomorrow. And then that little te.
I would explain it like it's basically like a casual way of saying wa. So think of it like wa.
Ashita te. And wa, if you didn't know, is a particle that points to the topic of the sentence. And it really means as for this thing. But yeah, instead of saying right, you can say te. So ashita te. So about tomorrow. And then what did you say?
雨だよね. So 雨 is rain, and だよね means isn't it?
Yeah. That's great. So 明日って雨だよね. So it's gonna, yeah, tomorrow it's gonna rain, right? And then I kind of disagreed with you.
Yeah, you said いや違うと思うよ.
That's
So
pretty.
yeah. Yeah is like no. It's kind of like NAH. Nah.
Nah. Nope. Yeah.
And of course, you have to say it kind of friendly, right? You don't want to say いや. But it's like いや、nah. 違うと思うよ. 違う is 違う does mean, literally mean different. But here in this context, in this situation, it means not right, not quite. 違うと思うよ. I don't think that's right.
Yeah. So if you just put to or more at the end, it just means I think that whatever, right? And then you're just emphasizes it. So, yeah, 違うと思うよ. Nah, I don't think so.
And then I said, 今朝の天気予報で言ってたよ. A little long, but we'll break it down. 今朝 is this morning, not of. 天気予報, weather forecast. There is a particle. It's pointing to that 天気予報, that subject. It's saying in this case, it's saying in the weather forecast. 言ってたよ. They were saying. So, well, they were saying in this morning's weather forecast.
Yeah, it was being said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the forecast. Yeah, and also the pronunciation, I probably still get it wrong, but it's 天気予報. Is that right?
天気予報.
Yeah, I always used to say 天気予報, but it's not 予報, it's 予報.
It's a short, it's a short 予.
Yeah, right.
天気予報.
天気予報. Great.
Yeah, now the 報 is slightly long.
It's slightly long, yeah.
Yeah, 天気予報.
天気予報.
Exactly.
Great.
And then Alex said, 本当? もう一回確かめてみて. 本当? Really? もう一回, one more time, 確かめてみて. Check it. Check it.
Check it out.
Check it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 確かめる, the verb it means to confirm or to check. So
Yeah.
really? Why don't you check again? もう一回確かめてみて. And then I said, あ、本当だ。晴れだった. あ basically is like, oh.
Yeah.
And then 本当だ is, oh, that's true, or you're right. hare is sunny, だった was. So, oh, you're right. It was sunny, or it's going to be sunny.
Yeah, it's. I guess the reason you say datta is because it said it was.
Yeah, it said it was.
Yeah, right.
So, and then Alex said, ね、違ったでしょ? ね is like see or right. 違った was wrong. でしょ? Right. ね、違ったでしょ? See? You were wrong.
So, I got a question for that last sentence. Should you be a little careful? Could that be interpreted as being really annoying? So, see, I told you so.
Yeah.
Ami Sensei, thank you for helping to complete this conversation. All those phrases are super natural. I hear them on a daily basis. So have another listen. By the way, don't forget, for our wonderful premium members, you can download an extra Japanese dialogue only audio file. So you can listen to these dialogues without all the English blah, 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 and practice again as many times as you want.
Blah, blah, blah.
Without the blah, blah, blah. Great. Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Ami Sensei.
Yeah.
So that's a dialogue that gives you an idea of how to use some phrases to disagree with people, naturally in context. But Ami Sensei, could you teach us a couple more phrases for disagreeing with people?
Sure thing. Here are some useful phrases you can use to disagree with people and correct someone if you think they have misspoken or made a mistake. Now, I've ordered these from the most polite and indirect to the blunt and direct. So use them with care, please. So here we go. Number 1. 本当? Really? Now, this is perhaps the least confrontational way to disagree or question a statement. So, for example, 日本語は難しいと思う. 本当? So, 日本語は難しいと思う. Japanese is difficult. 本当? Really? Now, if I said it, then I would sound, very annoying because obviously
you're
but
it's Japanese. Easy for you. You're Japanese, right? Yeah. But but generally, honto is like really useful because I think, as we'll probably mention this many times in the podcast, Japanese people tend to be less direct. And instead of saying, no, you're wrong, you idiot, they're just going to say something more like, really? Is that the case? Yeah, that's great. What's another phrase?
Another phrase is どうかな? I'm not sure about that. So どうかな is another indirect way to question someone else's opinion and means something like, oh, I'm not sure about that, or really? And it's generally fine to use in most situations as it is indirect. So for example, 英語は難しいと思う. 英語は難しいと思う. I think English is difficult. And you can reply, どうかな? I'm not sure. 英語は難しいと思う. どうかな?
Again, that would be annoying if I said that, right?
Yes.
Or either of us said that to an English student, right? Right.
So I have another one that's kind of similar. そうかな? I'm not sure about that. So it's almost the same as どうかな, but slightly more direct. Again, this is usually okay to use in most situations. So for example, これで大丈夫だよ. This'll be fine. そうかな? I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, right.
Wow, I sound annoying, but...
Yeah. No, but these are great. Yeah, どうかな or そうかな. It's like, really? Are you sure about that?
But of course, it's context too. So
it's context, yeah.
Yeah, like you could say そうかな if if somebody was like being a little negative or being, like they weren't sure about, how they look or how they, feel about themselves. And you could be like, oh, I wouldn't say that. I'm not sure about that. そうかな?
That's a really good point. Yeah, if someone's maybe lacking confidence, you can maybe give them a boost by saying, I can't do anything right. そうかな? It's like, really? Is that really true? No, come on, you can do it. Yeah, good one.
これで大丈夫だよ。そうかな? Okay, and then the next one is そうでもないと思います. Now, そうでもないと思います simply means I don't think so. And this is a little more direct than the previous phrases, but still polite enough for most situations. So, for example, これは無理だ. This is impossible. そうでもないと思います. Oh, I don't think so. これは無理だ. そうでもないと思います.
In Japanese, generally speaking, the rule is to be less confrontational, less direct.
Yes.
So instead of saying これは無理だ, 違う. It's like, そうでもないと思います.
Yeah.
I don't think
And of
so.
course, I don't know if you would say this to your boss.
I think we're now getting into slightly more frank or blunt territory. These should be used with care with people who are maybe older than you or of a senior social rank to you. So just be a little bit careful with these.
And then we've got another one. ちょっと違うかな? So ちょっと違うかな means that's not quite right. And the ちょっと at the beginning makes it a little less direct. And you can also say 違います if you wanted to speak in Keigo. And this can be used in most situations. So, for example, お好み焼きは日本のピザでしょ? Okonomiyaki is like Japanese pizza or the pizza of Japan, right? ちょっと違うかな? I don't think that's quite right.
Right.
Like not exactly.
Not exactly, yeah.
お好み焼きは日本のピザでしょ? ちょっと違うかな? And then I've got a couple more. 違う which is much more direct. And you can simply say 違う, which means that's wrong. Simply means that's wrong.
And I guess you should be careful because this shouldn't really be used in situations where you want to be polite and indirect.
Yeah.
This is quite blunt, quite frank, right?
Yeah. And then, for example, if somebody asked me, like, oh, you're from Osaka, oh, you're a Kansaijin. 納豆嫌いでしょ? 違うよ.
Nope.
Nope. You're wrong. And I've got one more. 絶対違う. This is a very direct and blunt way of speaking. It means that's completely wrong, and it could be considered rude or aggressive if used in the wrong company. So, if someone says something like, 彼は嫌な人だよね. それは絶対違うよ. 彼は嫌な人だよね. He's not a nice person, huh? And you completely disagree and you say, それは絶対違うよ. Or 絶対違う. That's totally not true, or that's totally wrong.
That's really good. So just to quickly go over those again. And again, these were ordered in levels of politeness, going from most polite and indirect to most frank and direct. So, 本当, really? どうかな? I'm not sure about that, which is also very similar to そうかな? And then we said, そうでもないと思います. I don't think so. And then, ちょっと違うかな? I don't think that's right. And then we had 違う. So now we're getting into more kind of direct territory here. That's wrong. You're wrong. And then finally, 絶対違う. You're absolutely wrong about that. Yeah. So, アミ先生、すごい勉強になりました。ありがとう。
いいえ、どういたしまして。
So, dear listener, use those with care and have a listen to the dialogue again and see if you can use them in your own conversations with Japanese people. And again, try to be less direct. Try to be more polite and indirect when you're disagreeing with people. Trust me, your life will be easier in Japan.
そうですね。
There's a man who speaks from experience. But Ami Sensei, thank you so much for putting that together. Thanks for teaching us those. And this is great because, as you mentioned before in podcast 45, we were talking about how to agree with people, and then this one is how to disagree. So now, dear listener, you have both the yin and the yang of agreeing and disagreeing with people. So now, Ami Sensei, I think it's time for us to switch into Japanese mode.
おー、いいですね。
And I thought I would ask you a couple of questions. And again, this is really on the topic of disagreeing with people. So I'm going to make some maybe slightly ridiculous statements or questions to you.
Okay.
And then feel free to disagree. Well, you can agree if you want to.
Okay.
And we're going to do this entirely in Japanese. Now, I've prepared the questions, but Ami is going to reply to these freely.
Okay.
So if you are a premium member, you will get a full transcript of this conversation so you can study later if you didn't get everything. So, Ami 先生、日本語にスイッチしましょう。
スイッチ。
はい、1番。
はい。1番。はい。
早
速ですね。
基礎的な日本語は難しいと思いますか？
どうかな。どうかな。
そうですね。だから、
難しいですね。
Okay, good, right. Okay, じゃあ2番。漢字は勉強しなくてもいいでしょう？
そんなことないと思います。
ちょっと勉強した方がいいよね。
やっぱり、しなかったら、結構困るかな。
そうだね。だから、まあ漢字の勉強は大変だけど、できれば、
まあちょっとずつ
勉強すればすごい役に立つと思いますよ。
役に絶対立ちます。
そう。じゃあ3番。
はい。
日本語の会話は練習しなくても大丈夫ですよね。
いやそうかな。やっぱり練習した方が特に日本人と話したり日本に行きたい人は練習した方がいいですね。
私もそう思いますよ。じゃあ4番。
はい。
日本語のリスニングは練習しなくても上手になると思いますか？
いや思わない。それは違う。それは違う。
ごめんなさい。この質問ちょっととんでもない質問だよ。
やっぱりリスニングが結構中心、英語で言ったら core だと思いますね。
そうですね。やっぱり子供は自分の母国語を習うときは全部最初耳から
ね、赤ちゃんの時からね。
そうだから日本語いっぱい聞いてください。じゃあ最後の質問。
はい。
日本語を喋るときに絶対に間違ったらダメです。
そんなことないです。
そうだね。
それは絶対違います。
なんていう日本語でYou won't learn if you don't make mistakes.
You learn from mistakes.
You learn from mistakes. 失敗は成功のもとだ。
そうです。本当にそうです。
だから完璧主義者は上達しないと思う。
覚えにくい。逆に。
覚えにくい。そう。
だから皆さん頑張ってください。
皆さん頑張ってください。
うん。
ということで、質問を答えていただいてありがとうございます。
どういたしまして、楽しかったです。
ごめん。すごい変な質問なんだけど。
いえいえ。
Well, that's it for today. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. Don't forget, if you have a Japanese question, comment, feedback, whatever, you can reach out to us in various ways. You can email us at info@learnjapanesepod.com. That's info@learnjapanesepod.com. Do you people still use email? I'm not sure, but if you did,
I
that's
think
how
most of us do.
some of us do, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can also find us on our Discord server. As I said before, just follow the links at learnjapanesepod.com. So come say hello. We'd love to hear from you.
はい。
And Ami sensei, 今日本当にありがとうございました。
いえいえ。こちらこそ楽しかったです。ありがとうございます。
今日はとても楽しかったよね。
ですね。
じゃあ皆さん、また今度日本語頑張ってください。じゃあまたね。
またね。